Hey guys, today we're going to learn about graphing a line in standard form. So the first thing we're going to need to do is find out what that means in terms of what it means to be in standard form. So go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so here we see standard form ax plus by equals c, where a and b cannot be both 0. A and B, we're going to find out, are a couple of rates that look and operate just like slope does. Okay, so here we have four equations, and we're going to graph them using the form that we're most used to, which is y equals mx plus b, or slope-intercept form. And you might say to yourself, I thought we were graphing in standard form. Well, these equations start in something that looks like standard form, but we're going to move them over to slope-intercept form. So let's do number one together. Rewrite the equation on your paper or in your notes. And now we're going to solve for y. Just like over here, it says y equals. We're going to make this equation say y equals. And we can do that by subtracting x from both sides in this problem. And y equals negative x minus 2. Already we can see that we have a slope of negative 1 and a y-intercept of negative 2, because m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, which is that point at 0, b. In this case, 0, negative 2, because that's what matches the b. So now we're ready to graph this. We go down to, we use x is 0 and go down 2. That's this point. And then we do a slope of negative 1, which is down 1 over 1. We've created 2 points, and so we're ready to draw the line. We're going to go over to problem number 2 now, and I'm going to rewrite that, and you can do the same into your notes. And you can see that there are a couple extra algebra moves to take care of. First one, let's remove this entire group, this whole term, by addition. Plus 1/2 x and plus 1/2 x. So now the 2y was untouched on the left side, so it's 2y equals 1/2 x plus 6. But we want it to say y equals, not 2y equals, and so we're going to divide away that 2. Divide, divide, divide. And we have y equals 1/4 x plus 3. This equation is in the proper form. So we have a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of 0, 3. And we're ready to graph 0, 3 and a slope of up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 4. And we can just sketch a line in there. Okay, that's the second one. Using slope-intercept form on the third one's actually going to be pretty easy. I'm going to write it right from the problem here. So take a moment to write down number 3. And notice I'm simply going to add 2/3 x to the left side and 2/3 x to the right side. This entire group cancels, and on the left side, y magically drops down over to the left, and over on the right side, we have 0 plus 2/3 x, which is 2/3 x. We're ready to graph. There is no y-intercept listed, so we know it's plus 0. It would look like this. So here's where we start. We go up 2 and over 3, and we're ready to do the point. We're now ready to draw in that line, and here's the sketch of that line. We can see a gentle slope of 2/3, which is our slope right here, and we see it comes out of the origin, which is 0, 0, right here. Okay, guys, let's move on to the next slide. You can see in this slide, we took standard form and we made it into the other form that we're most familiar with. I know this slide's getting kind of full, so let's move on. Okay, here we have two equations in standard form, and we're going to graph these using the intercepts. Suppose I asked you what the value of the points were on the y-axis here, and I wanted to know the x value of any of these points along here. Well, if I said, what is the x value? You should answer, the x value is 0, because we haven't gone left or right on this at all. So all of these points will start with a 0. That means in this equation, we can plug in 0 for x. And we'll find out exactly what the y value is when x is 0. Well, 2 times 0 is 0, and we have negative y equals 8, or y equals negative 8. So when x is 0, y is negative 8. In the same way, if I asked you, what are the values of y of any point along the x-axis, you should say, well, they must be 0, because we're not going up or down off of the x-axis at all. So to find any point along the x-axis, we're simply going to plug in 0 for y. Notice I've restarted the equation. I've already got one solution when x is 0. Now I'm finding a solution for when y is 0. I get 2x equals 8, so x equals 4. I'll let you get that down into your notes, and meanwhile I'm going to put a 4 right here. Well, I have 2 points. I have the point 4, 0, and that's over 4. I'll put that in red. Here's 4, 0. Unfortunately, my other point on this graph is 0, negative 8. So as we count downwards, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 8's somewhere down here off the graph at 0, negative 8. We'll guess it's there. But you can see I've now got 2 points, and I'm ready to sketch the line. In the second problem, we're going to follow the exact same method. I'm going to say, here are the 2 points I'm looking for. 0, comma, well, we don't know yet. And x is the item we don't know, or the coordinate we don't know. But we do know y could be 0. And so I'm going to start with x equals 0. When x is 0, plus 3y equals 6, we must divide by 3. Of course, that 0 off to the left doesn't count for anything. And y equals 2. So when x is 0, y is 2. Now we're going to forget that part of the problem and find out what x is when y is 0. So x is, well, here's y is 0. Notice the y value right here turned into a 0 right here. And this term goes away, so x equals 6. That means that when y is 0, x is 6. We have 2 points, and it's time to graph them. Let's go blue, 0, 2, and 6, 0. I found 2 points. I sketched the line. And one of the things you'll notice is when you use intercepts here and here, or here and here, we found 2 points, and we never mentioned slope once. This is how you find how you graph a line when you are using points. Zero out the x right here, then zero out the y. We use 0 because that makes the problems really pretty easy to solve. Okay, guys, thanks. Bye. So we have points, and you've got some time to get that into your notes. Now, go ahead and go for that essential question. How do I graph an equation in standard form? You have two options. Write into your notes some note about what we saw in the previous slide, and write a second note about 2 points. And those points should probably look something like this. Make your notes here so you have two methods of graphing a line from standard form.